Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. Today is Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am so excited today. I have two new guests on the show today. People that have never been here before, and they're already jockeying for another visit to come back. So, what I'm going to do is give my shout out the way so that we can get them on the air so we have plenty of time to hear about what they all are about. So, as always, I have to give a shout out to my mentor, Dr. Hunt. Dr. Hunt and I have been traveling in life together for 30 plus years. And out of those 30 plus years, he has been a blessing to both me and my family, as well as I have been a blessing to him and his family. Now, the reason why I talk about my mentor as much as I do, because I want you all to understand the value of a mentor. A mentor can help you in the good times, the bad times, help navigate through situations and circumstances when anybody else may not be able to see the way. A mentor can help you through a clear path to where you need to go. So I encourage you to get a mentor and then get a show so you can shout your mentor out. Okay? So now I want to encourage you all to go over to my website, ask-dr-ron.com. And when you get over there, the first thing I want you to notice is that you can watch every live broadcast right there on the website. All you have to do is scroll down to where it says watch live, and you'll be able to see the live broadcast every single time right there on the website. Now, I've got a few advertisers here that I want to talk about. The first one is RRJ Web. If you have a broken website, or if you would like to build a website, you can call RRJ Web, and they will build a website straight out of whatever situation that you want to put that's in your head. He can put it out there on the World Wide Web. So that's RRJ Web. If you've got a broken website, he can fix your broken website. So you definitely want to give them a call and see what's going on. Next, I want to talk about Sir Synergy. Now, if you're interested in solar panels for your home or your business, you want to give Sir Synergy a call and say, hey, come on out and do an evaluation on my business, on my home, and they can explain everything about solar panels. Definitely check them out because they are helping people save money on their home and businesses with their solar panels. The next one I want to talk about is Port Again Sam. Now, Port Again Sam brings in some of the best wines and spirits from all over the world. Now, Sam has just gotten some new wines in. I was just out there last week, and he was showing me the new stuff. So now's the time to go see Sam and order your wine tasting so you can find out what you're going to be drinking on for the holiday season coming up, your new favorite wine. And he also got some cognac in stock, y'all, so you definitely want to reach out to Sam so you can get your favorite cognac because he's back in stock. And last but not least, I want to talk about the Prince Hunter Financial Group. The Prince Hunter Financial Group is helping people understand about the stock market and the Forex market. If you have a desire to want to know how people become millionaires through the stock market, you need to call him up and say, hey, I want to learn. He is offering to anyone that has seen this advertisement 4 free classes. He's giving 4 free classes to anybody that say, hey, I've seen this advertisement on the Dr. Ron show. I want my 4 free classes. They'll enlighten you greatly. Okay? So if you have anybody that's interested in any of our advertisers, all you have to do is click on any one of the banners that you see or flyers. It'll take you directly to their website so that you can find out any information that you might need to know about what they do. So like I said at the beginning of the show, I've got 2 new guests that are in the green room. We're going to bring them up right now so that you can see who they are. They have never been on the show before, and I'm so excited to have new guests on the show. Miss Beverly, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And Michael, welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure, Dr. Ron. I'm glad to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, now both of these are guests that have interesting backgrounds. And I know Miss Beverly's going to come to us and talk to her about herself right now. So, Miss Beverly, the floor is yours.
Okay. My name is Beverly LaRue. I'm a playwright, director, published author, and also a director, author, and a playwright, and also a songwriter and an actress.
Okay.
She's also a best-selling author.
A best-selling author. Okay, she kind of low played it a little bit, didn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, I had to edify her. I had to keep it going. We support empowering women, Dr. Ron, so we had to give her her props.
There you go. There you go. Well, I figure she knows about herself better than anybody else, so I give her an opportunity to talk about herself so that people can, get a chance to get to know her. So, Michael, you tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here and to be here with an empowering sister like Beverly LaRue, who's a jack of all trades and a master of many. I've worked with her on several projects, but this is about me for now, so I'm going to give myself a shameless, selfless plug. I'll start
right
off
ahead.
Since I support empowering women, I'll start off by supporting my wife first, because we are the co-executive producers of the Living Wealthy with Robbie show on JD3 TV. And if you got a show, we want to know. That's just one of the things that we do. But I'm also a published author of several books. Matter of fact, the book, Daddy-Daughter Dynamics, right here, is one of the books that we published along with Beverly LaRue, who's a award-winning author in this particular book. She had the chapter in it. And I'm a manuscript development specialist, among many things. And my team and I, we empower you to tell your story and get your book out of your head so it can be published and read. And with that said, I've worked with over 155 different writers. 55 became published authors from 10 different countries, and 15 became best-selling authors. And I'm proud to say Beverly LaRue is one of those 15.
All right now. Man, that's a mouthful right there. Yeah. So let me start out by asking Michael a question. So, Michael, when you work with people that are not writers, people like myself who don't know nothing about writing nothing down other than a date on a calendar, how do you approach working with them as a somebody that's got something in their head that needs to get out?
Well, that was a great question, because that's exactly what got me into becoming a published author when I wrote my first book back in 2008. So what I normally do is I sit down and have a consultation, a meet and greet, and an overview, and we just have a casual conversation about who you are, what you do, what you like, and most importantly, what are you doing now? And in those 4 or 5 conversations, it comes out to what the topic of their book is going to be, or the subject matter of what their book is going to be. If not, I can utilize my listening skills and kind of tie in what's best for them based on what the client or prospective aspiring author talks about.
Okay. All right, Miss LaRue, is that what he did to you? He just got in your head and pulled it out?
That's exactly what he did. He gave me the opportunity to share my thoughts with him. And once he brought it all together, he was able to put it in writing. And he made it so
Okay.
easy. It was like easy flowing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd be scared for him to talk to me more than 10 minutes because he might not like what he hear.
Well, as long as your target market likes it, that's all that counts.
I know that's right. Hey, everything sells. You know, it's so interesting. I have several friends that are record labels and producers of music. Especially hip hop. And the record label, I'm gonna name drop now. I can't think of the label, but Legit Ballin'. Yeah, that's the name of the label. Legit Ballin' record label, and he used to be the label for Twister.
Mhm.
So that's a hip hop thing. And one of the things that he told me long time ago, there's a market for everything. Okay, and
Hmm.
I kind of laughed, and I'm like, wow, because I heard some stuff that didn't sound like nothing. He said, "Oh, we can take this overseas and they'll love it." And I'm like, "Wow, okay, good luck with it."
Well, he was kind of correct with that. In 2017, my wife and I internationally spoke in Johannesburg, South Africa, on
Hmm.
stage with Randy Zuckerberg, Indaba Mandela, Nelson Mandela's grandson, and a host
Hmm.
of other locals. And I was amazed that we were the only people who
Dang.
who didn't have that
It
real.
ain't me. So y'all looking around to see who it is. It ain't me.
It ain't me, so I'm gonna just keep on talking. Just have
Uh
that
huh.
millionaire name set. So what we did was, when we got off the stage, we introduced our first book, Financially Speaking: The Best Improvement Starts with Self-Improvement. So when my
Hmm.
wife interviewed Indaba Mandela, she asked him a question about how is the finances in South Africa similar to the finances in the United States. And he
Hmm.
said this, I mean, he gave the most astonishing answer that both countries are struggling right now. Even
Hmm.
America is supposed to be one of the superpowers. He said when you go through the neighborhoods, you can see that it's not too much different than an American neighborhood and a South African neighborhood
Right.
when it comes to
Yeah.
economics.
Yeah. Yeah. And absolutely, to speak to that point, I just had a group of ladies that went to last the end of last year. Went to South Africa, and they say it's a giant ghetto still to this day. So it's unfortunate that things have not improved. That the Europeans are still raping, pillaging all of our continent, all of our countries on the main continent, and taking all the riches and doing for themselves, but leaving the people in poverty. It's unfortunate. You know,
Well,
those things
the
are
the
still
apart
real.
yeah, yeah, the apartheid with Stephen Biko and Nelson Mandela, what they fought for, unfortunately, in my opinion, the South Africans are still under that mentality to a degree. You have a lot of them are very successful, don't get me wrong, but as a
Hmm.
collective group of South Africans, it's the success rate and going forward is slim to none. Rather than what can I do for this, is how can you help me, rather than how can you help me to help myself, because we
Right.
all are here to help and serve, but you should want to help and serve yourself as well as help and serve others as well. So
Absolutely.
if we can overcome that within all of America and all of the five diasporas in the African continent, we would be very well off as George Fraser says, as connecting the dots.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Miss Beverly, by you being a book author, an award-winning book author, and a celebrity, now do you travel and talk about your books and things like that?
Here lately, I've been in the community so far, just talking about the book and in the neighborhood. So I haven't branched out yet, but this is the beginning.
Okay. All right. So is that all you do? Is just the books and talk about them in the community? Is that do you have other things that you do as well?
Yes, I have also taught a playwriting class for the library for young children ages 9 to 16. And during that 6-week class, they was able to write their own play. We did a performance, and they had awards. In this way, I was able to build their creativity in them, letting them realize that whatever they put their mind to, they can do it, and to expand who they are. Not only that, to help them build up their social skills. So it was a phenomenal time, life changing for them and for me.
Okay. I heard you say you were an actress as well. So what kind of acting background do you have?
Well, just on my stage. I mean, from when I started writing, um, also younger. I did some playwriting in my younger years, like in my 20s, for the church. So that's really where it started. It
Okay.
started at church, writing plays for the congregation. Yeah.
Okay. So what led you to go down that way? What led you to be interested in wanting to act and put on plays?
That's a good question.
I know I'm
And
full
it
of them.
was That's a good question. To express myself. I wanted to express who I am. I wanted to
Uh
be
huh.
able to, for people to see themselves, to get a point across, to be able to get a message that could help and heal others. And that was perfect, being on the stage. Yeah.
Okay. All
May
right.
I interject a little something there?
Come on, Mike.
Um,
Look, man, you don't need permission. Look, come on.
okay. Where her last play, Intimate Changes, is a play with a mission. And she talks about the mission is to spread the word on mental health and domestic violence. So now let's piggyback to the book, Daddy Daughter Dynamics, that she has a chapter in. That's one of the creative tools that goes along with the play, that goes along with the mission for Intimate Changes to spread the word about mental health and domestic violence. So what she's actually doing is creating situations, products, services, and plays and awareness for those two entities where women, men, children, and adults are suffering in silence from mental health and domestic violence.
Is that one of the books you got laying there?
Yes, it is.
Why don't you hold it up while he talking about it? There you go. There you
Okay.
go. See, that's how that
Right.
works. See, you wanted to be the Black Vanna White earlier, so now,
Right. So now I get a chance.
yeah. So this is
Um,
this is one of the books that now Michael helped you put this together.
yes, he did. He
Okay.
was able to walk me through my healing journey. I remember being asked, this is one thing, I remember being asked to be a part of this project. And I was like, my father was in my life. So I didn't think I fit. And then the more I talked and we was able to sit down, and the Lord let me know that sometimes your father can be in your life, but if you don't have a bond, it's like a missing piece. And that this book right here gave me an opportunity to share that part of my life, a part of the healing, a part of where God showed me that He is the Father to the fatherless, not the Father that have less of Him, but the Father that have more of Him. So this book is such a life changer. I was able to express myself and to help others to know that they're not by themselves. You're not by yourself when you go through your father issues. It's other
Mm-hmm.
women that have those issues that's willing to share.
And men too.
Oh,
You know. Yep.
yeah, true.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's funny.
Exactly.
You should say that because prior to coming on the air, see, y'all don't know this, but we're gonna share it anyway. We were, prior to going live, we were talking about, various professions, and Michael was talking about how he was a truck driver, bus driver, and that was one of the professions that he was in. And I shared some similar type experiences, and then I actually told the both of them that that's when I learned how to drive an 18-wheeler was when I really started liking my father. Because I didn't like him before that. I was like, he's a mean old dude. But then after he took me on the road and actually showed me something that benefited me my entire life, which was a trade, a skill that I was able to make money with throughout my life until I don't drive them. I gave him my CDL. I don't do that no more. But I was able to have that experience to reflect back on. And see, Michael did that. He brought it out of me. He psycholized me and made me tell on myself. See, because he started talking that CB jargon at first. He tricked me. And I was like, what you know about that? And the next thing I know, I was confessing. He got me, y'all. He got me. So y'all know not to sit down with him because he going to make you tell on yourself,
Well, but in all regards to what you're saying, that's part of the suffering in silence where people hold it in for all of their life and they don't tell it. And then there's stress issues, or they're trying to climb up a mountain with 100-pound bag of emotions on their back, and it's too heavy because they don't let it out, because they don't understand there's three people in one body at one time. One is the inner child, one is the adolescent, and one is the adult parent. Depending on which one is in charge depends on how we all act every single day.
Absolutely. But, just to clarify, I learned a lot about my dad during that adventure. So I was able to use the skills that he gave me that helped me down the road in life to be able to be productive. So what we had going on prior to that was totally irrelevant. I forgot all about it. So I got over it. The bottom line was I got over it. So no, very interesting. I like that. I like that concept. So there are many people out here that may not even know who their father is. That's a different problem altogether. And you need to embrace, wherever you are in your life, what that may or may look like, because there were men that came into our lives that represent different roles in our lives that help us get what we need in life to get to where we need to go. That's another part of it, because, healing, and as well as realizing, my grandfather was there to do this for me, or my uncle was here to do this for me. And I'm talking about your real uncle, not the one that your mama called your uncle. Yeah, that's a different show.
That's a whole different story.
That's a different show altogether. So back to Miss Beverly. So, Miss Beverly, I noticed you held up one book. You want to hold up the other one and talk about that one?
Yes, this is my book. It's really a journal about my walk, transformation with the Lord. The name of it is Divine Intimate Conversations. And the journal began when I was going through some things and I really needed to hear from God. I needed it more than anything else. And I remember one day just seeking him to the point where I was emotionally drained. And I just said, I need to see you. I need to feel you. And at that point, I don't know if I fell out, but something, and I woke and I began to hear him clearly. And this is how my relationship began to start with him. But he took it deeper. It was more of it was deeper. It got to be an intimate place in me that went past the surface. I wasn't in a church pew. There was no pastor around. It was just me and him. And the place where he took me is to let me know that he wanted a relationship, an intimate relationship with all of his children, not just me. He said, this is what I died for, to have you. So this right here, this book, really, even though it's small, people like it is powerful because it touches the heart. It's from God's heart, from my heart, to share with others, So, yeah, I'm passionate about what God's doing with this and me.
Okay. So I know Michael got something else because I know he probably helped you write this one too. You know. Come on, Michael. What you guys say behind that?
Well, I've known Beverly and I've gotten to know her love of the Lord and her passion for being a true believer and a true follower and letting the illuminating light from up above lead her path in righteousness and helping and serving others as well as helping and serve herself. And that's one thing that all women, including Beverly,
Hmm.
has started to do more is to help and serve herself so
Yeah.
she can help and serve others at a higher level. You know, it's no use in neglecting yourself as a woman because women are empowering. We may be physically stronger to some degree, but in all other areas, and that's why I always talk about the empowerment that women do have, because all of the women in my life, if it wasn't
Hmm.
for them, I would have been successful, but I wouldn't have been the man I am today. So I have to tip
Oh.
my hat to my wife, to my sister Beverly, and all the women that I work with, and even the women that I don't know. You know, because once you know your why, your reason and purpose, and your goal or dream, the suffragettes did it way back in the day. So this is no different than then.
Hmm.
They just
Hmm.
need a few men like us to promote them and get out the way.
Hmm. I got you. So now we talked about two of the books that Beverly had sitting out there. Now I know that you got a whole book rack sitting up there behind you. You want to talk about some of those books that you got up there, and content, and those must be your favorites facing the camera.
Yeah, well, the first one, financially speaking, is my favorite because it's the cornerstone that started our financial education company, the Mathews Entrepreneur Group. That book right there is, we launched it in the company and the book in Johannesburg, South Africa, and
Hmm.
that took us globally, that first book. The next book is a compilation book with 10 people from 10 different countries about it's time to get serious, finding your moment of clarity, discovering your power within. It's 10 different countries, four different time zones, four different continents, different languages, but we still got the book done. And inside of that book, it's a lot of personal development, self help, and self actualization that lets you know who you really are as a person before you can judge anybody else, like the man in the mirror Michael Jackson theory. That's where it all starts with when we look in the mirror at ourselves. And that's part of what's going on now. We're so willing to point the finger at others rather than pointing the finger at the person that we see in the mirror in terms of how can I help that person change so I can help others change. And my next book that's coming out is titled 52 Shades of Inspiration. I wrote 52 poems and I wrote 52 examples of what the poems mean and put it in a little workbook. And that book could be published in about the next 30 days. And there's one more book called Harness the Power of Purpose with 10 different business entrepreneurs from 10 different states within the United States. And then I have something called a murder romance mystery novel for adult entertainment. I figure that's one of the five top selling genres in writing. So why not put a book in that genre as well?
Okay. So now let's go back to the first one you talked about. So what's the secret about the financial? What's the name of it? Financial what?
Financially speaking.
Financially speaking. So what's the secret in your book about financially speaking?
Well, let me tell you why I wrote it. I wrote it
Mm-hmm.
because when I was working at the CTA, I had a premonition to move my money out of my 457 plan, out of the 10% yielding stocks that it was yielding, and put it into a 3% stable income. I don't know why
Okay.
I just got that out of the clear blue sky one night and I did it. And 30 days later, the crash of 2008 happened, that bubble bursted, and all of the 401ks, 457 plans, stock markets plummeted, and everybody was losing 50 to 60 to $100,000 out of their retirement plans. But I earned
Mm-hmm.
3%. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't lose anything because of that one move. So that
Mm-hmm.
decided me to write the book on financial education from a blue collar worker, but I had real good help because my wife is a retired. At that time, she was an active vice president of a Fortune 500 financial services firm,
Okay.
so that's where I was getting my financial knowledge from. That gave me the credentials to write a financial education book because it takes you have to know finances in order to write about finances.
Right. Absolutely. Now I'm finna name drop again. Notice I said fitting to. By you being with the CTA and retired, do you remember Jerry Williams?
Yes, I remember Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry's a friend to the show all the time. He comes on here all the time talking about that big lawsuit that all you retirees just got because
Hmm.
of they decided to steal you all's pension plan and decide not to give it to the retirees. So he's been keeping us up to date on the show regularly
Hmm.
about that, about how that progress and how it's going. So very interesting. I didn't put it together before the show, but when you mentioned that, like you moved your money before they started stealing your money, that's what's up.
Exactly, exactly. And then the book also talks about a debt reduction rollover payment plan, how to use credit cards with 0% interest. It's okay to have credit cards, but the credit card should pay you instead of you paying the credit card. So those
Absolutely.
are just a couple of the tips along with stock market, along with if you are still working the 40-40-40 plan, working 40 hours a week, 40 years of your life to retire on 40% of your income. If you was just to stop buying lunch out every day at $89 and buy it in bulk, in my book, I give an example of how I did that and ended up saving $20,000 just from the stop buying lunch, and I used that to invest in at 10% interest, and that turned into a six-figure, and it kept growing and growing and growing. So it's not only about how to save money, but it's about how to make money and how to invest in your future as well. And another cool, quick thing, I we have a friend who was a Harvard law professor at the time, and we gave her the manuscript and asked her, was this good enough for your Ivy League friends? And she said, let me read it first. So she read it and she said, this is one of the best books she ever read. I said, and then she said, on top of that, I'm willing to endorse it and write on the back of it and put my name and credentials on the back of it just to show you I believe in your book that much. So that's
All
one of the
right.
reasons that book is our heart and soul, because I'm from Main Street and she's from Wall Street, but the information in the book connects.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. So when you say you took it worldwide, so people from other countries that don't have the literacy that it would take to understand something like that, how are you making it available for them to be able to understand it?
Face to face in person. Because before COVID, we were out the country twice a month. We were out of the United States, going from country to country. We're in a group called the Global Men's Club and the Global Women's Club, where these our friend is from Albania, but she lives in London and she sets up these clubs all around the world. And when she came to Chicago several years ago and set up a club in Chicago, and from there we traveled to London, been on we met Kim Kiyosaki and the Rich Girls, Randy Zuckerberg, just to name a few financial female gurus as well. And from that connection and group of women who are serious about keeping their money in their purse, but also sharing how we as men can keep money in our wallet, and then you can give from your overflow, like Lisa Nichols always teaches. It was easy to kind of do it.
Absolutely. Sounds good. That sounds very, very inspirational. And then the books that you help Beverly build, are there other authors in that repertoire? Because I heard you say one has got like 10 different authors in it.
Yes,
That's it's the daddy daughter dynamic. But
right. The daddy daughter dynamics has
but
13 empowering empowering women in it. I was the manuscript development coach, and I kind of managed how the book was done until publication. And it was, but the ladies did their jobs. They wrote the book. They were emotional, and they were honest and truthful. And some of them have never publicly told their stories. So for them to have a bucket full of tears and a basket full of napkins with the truth and honesty in order to help and serve others who might be suffering in silence and have similar stories that all 13 of those strong, empowering women had. I really commend them because it taught me something as well too as a man. I just couldn't I just couldn't understand how some of the situations they went through that a man can actually do some of those things.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So now, let's go full circle with the conversation. Now, I know Miss Beverly produced a play recently about one of your writings, right? Is that what you did? Let's talk
Yes.
about that.
Okay. The name of the play is Intimate Changes. And this play was based on domestic violence and mental health. And what we did in this play, what I tried to show and convey to the public is that domestic violence sometimes don't start with a big bang. It be the subtle things. It be the change in the way you feel about the person. It be a change in how you feel after that person is around, or even statements that stick to you and change who you are, the way you feel about yourself. Not only that, it may be just a subtle grabbing of the hand that makes you feel uncomfortable. All of this adds up and can make you feel not so good about yourself, which ends up being some type of mental um, issues later. It might be mild, it might be subtle, but it's there and it needs to be treated. And that's what we want to focus on to the public, to be aware.
So it's more like the
And
play was like a warning to people what to look for, what to be aware of.
it's a warning and an education to educate them in the community and the family members, because sometimes your family members don't really know what that person is going through. All they know
Mm-hmm.
is it's a change, it's a shift, but it has to be addressed. It's like no more hiding it. It has to be out in the public. Let's talk about it. It's shameful, it's guilt. A lot of times people don't want to talk about it because they feel bad. Like, how did they get in this situation? How did they
Mm-hmm.
get in this situation? How do they get out of it? So all of these things are important, and that was addressed.
So I know
Or
that you just go ahead. Go ahead, Michael.
I was going to say, or they don't even know what resources are available, because Beverly mentioned the family members, where family members can get the help of a domestic violence victim or a mental health victim, and keep it confidential, because you can't, under the code of ethics, you can't share a client's information with the family. But the
Mm.
family still needs to know what's going on and how to deal with it and treat it. So it's a group called the Al-Anon that's strictly for women, I'm sorry, strictly for family members, that will be educated on what that person who has the mental health issues or the domestic violence issues are all about. So they'll know how to deal with that situation before it gets really seriously out of hand, versus sharing the information of the actual client, which is unethical.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me put this up on the screen. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So now this is the cast of the group that you just performed your last play with. So you want to talk about them a little bit?
Yes, this is the cast of 4D production, my awesome cast. They are so amazing. I want to just applaud them even today for just going above and beyond. Um, so we have people, all my cast members are amazing. So this is Royale, is to the left. Zach and Royale, she played the big sister in the play. Zach, he played Donald. And also Sharita.
So before you go any further, which one is the abuser?
It would be Zach, which would be Donald.
Is that the one with the glasses on in the middle?
Donald is the one with the sweater. Zach.
Oh, the sweater, the black and white sweater.
Yes.
Why it got to be the light skinned brother messing up? You couldn't make a dark skinned brother the bad guy.
But he played his part so well.
He was good. He was good.
He was good. He played his
was
part
good.
so well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, light skinned brother's getting a bad rep again. Wow, go ahead, keep going.
Okay. And then there is Tyrone. Tyrone is in the middle, and he played Lawrence. He was the good guy telling Donald how he should treat his friend, his girlfriend Tanya, how he should treat her better and appreciate her. So he's the good guy.
Okay.
Okay. And then Sharita in the burgundy is Miss Sassy. Now, Miss Sassy always giving some hot, sassy advice to her neighbors, Tanya.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Then
And what's the European do?
James is Paul. Paul is a friend of Donald and Lawrence, and they play basketball together. So they just sort of hang out.
Okay.
And then we have Kristen. Kristen is Donald's sexy secretary that always makes sure he get his meals on time. Okay.
Okay.
And keep
So he's the work wife then.
Right.
Sort of, yeah. But we're missing one person on that picture as well. Her name is Lauren LaRue. She is Sharnetta, which is Tanya's best friend. And we're missing Tanya on there as well.
Okay.
Which is April.
Okay,
We're
well, this the
also
picture you
missing
sent me, so
Ramon.
this the one I put up because I ain't getting no other picture.
Right. I didn't. Well, here it is right here. I'll put it up.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Put
But,
it up.
so this is also, because I understand that you're going to be redoing this production again next month. So will this be the same cast that you're going to use next month?
It will be the dynamic same cast, yes.
Okay. All right. Anything, Michael, you want to add to that?
Right. Beverly gave me the opportunity to be the host of the play, and also the facilitator of the panel discussion with all of the group about mental health and domestic violence. And we kind of peeled back some layers doing that 30-minute interview. And we also did some one-on-one interviews with each individual cast members to just shed a little bit more light on each individual for a collective and as a group. So it was an awesome, fantastic experience for me, as well as the play itself was good. And I don't know, but this is what really made it good. The play had a couple snags, not the play, but it was some sound issues and some technical difficulties. And the play started about 30 minutes late. But Dr. Ron, once the play started, you couldn't even tell there were technical difficulties if you didn't know what was going on. That's how good everybody performed.
Well, see, the way you got to explain that is, that was a plan early in the mission for everybody to go to the vendors and buy up everything that they had.
Okay, that was okay.
I surely said you can't get up now and go to the vendors to the right, go to the left and get you some refreshments, and then come back and the play start momentarily.
There you go. All right, so we're gonna put that out the way. So, so you want to talk about the next production that you have coming up? I know you said it's going to be one in November. So, are you ready to release that information, or you want to wait?
I can release it.
Okay, go ahead.
The next performance will be November the 4th. November the 4th at the church in Chicago, which is. I'm going to have it written down.
That's okay. Tell them to email you. So your email information is on the bottom of your name, so they can email you to get more details about the church, where it's going to be at, the times, and all the information in relationship to that. And if you can't get in touch with Beverly. You can also call Michael because I'm sure Michael will be more than happy to steer you in the right direction. His phone number's right underneath his name. So,
Right.
you know, so that's how you do that. Even though you ain't got it in front of you. We see how we fix that? So anyway, so is that outside of November? Is that the only production you have coming up in the next before the end of the year?
No, that's the only production at the end.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I'll
All
be
right.
doing something for Black History Month in February.
Okay. Black History Month.
Hmm.
So they can keep up with you. Do you have like a mailing that you can send out to people if they subscribe to keep them up to date on what's going on? Do you have like a mailing list they can join?
I will be working on that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she's in the
Yes.
process of
I'm in the
putting it
process
together.
of, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. You know, you might need to call Ralph and have him put a website together for you. You know, that's my
Okay.
RRJ Web, so he can do all that kind of stuff. You know, make it easy
Okay.
for you.
Yes.
Um, okay, so shifting back over to you, Michael. Now, what do you have planned to meet? I know you mentioned earlier that you've got a book that you.
In the next 30 days, my 52 Shades of Inspiration should be published if there's no glitches. And then the murder romance mystery novels next. And then my wife's book, Living Wealthy with Robbie, is coming out next. And also, I'm going to give her another plug. As we started off, I gave her a plug. And I'll give her another plug about her TV show on JD3 TV. If you got
Okay.
a show we want to know, so you can take a picture of the QR code right here, and it'll give you all the information because we're co-executive producers of the JD of the Living Weather with Robbie show, and she just finished some episodes in the studio, and she's coming out with that. So I always like to plug my wife as well, whether she's with me or not, because if it wasn't for her and other empowering women such as Beverly as well, I know I would be successful, but I wouldn't be the kind of man that I am today. And the men who don't have that feminine, empowering energy in their life, if you want to learn a thing or two, get your empowering sister in your life, and trust me, you will learn a thing or two or three or four. Trust me.
Absolutely. Now, where can they find that network at?
JD3, do the QR code, and we will
Okay, is it
direct
an
you.
internet?
Or,
Is
or,
it internet?
yes,
Is it on a
it's
cable channel?
it's live streaming,
Okay.
but if you call me at 708-634-6785, I will lead you directly to it so you can get the first hand behind the scenes information with no fluff and no red tape.
Okay, so now I got to ask a question about that since you're plugging us so hard. So is it only for women or us brothers that don't have nothing going for ourselves? Can we go over there and get something going on?
Oh yeah, it's for all of the brothers and sisters, regardless of color. You all my brothers and sisters, from Main Street to Wall Street, where we can all learn. I mean, it has people on there from me, which I call myself from Main Street, up to the sharks on the Shark Tank, up until Wall Street. I mean, there's a different array of TV show hosts that has a lot of things to offer, and even in Beverly's field, there's a couple of playwrights on there. So there's a lot of things for everybody. But if you come through here with the QR code, take a snapshot of the QR code or give Mike Mathews a call. I'll make sure that you get what you need so you can be connected straight to the show, connected straight to my wife's show, Living Wealthy with Robbie, and then you can see everything else that's on the network.
Fantastic. So I love cross networking. In case you didn't know, I always love giving everybody an opportunity to talk about what they're doing and what their niches are. So we got about 10 minutes left in the show. So I always like to ask this question. Did we get a chance to talk about everything that you guys wanted to talk about on the show? Did we leave anything out?
No, Beverly's going to read a
Yeah.
poem, but before she reads her poem, if we all were like the lion who wakes up in Africa and sees the gazelle, and he chases the gazelle, knowing that if he doesn't catch the gazelle, he'll starve. Or that
Mhm.
same person wakes up like the gazelle, knowing that he has to outrun the lion. If not, he's going to be lion dinner. So either way, when you wake up, you got to be running. So as long as you're
Mm.
running towards your goals and dreams, you can choose a wish, fan a dream, pick a shooting star, let your hopes and spirits soar high and free and far. Reach for the unreachable, then stretch to touch the sky. No dream you treasure is too far away and high. Believe in the impossible, then work and try and do. For those of you who dare to dream, you can make your dream come true, whether you're the lion or the gazelle. You got to keep on running.
All right, now
Amen.
I like that.
All right.
You know,
Okay.
you kind of remind me of, Michael Collier.
I've heard of him. I don't know him personally though.
Yeah, Michael Collier is a comedian. He's from Chicago.
Hmm. Right.
He wound up. He landed in L.A. On one of the beaches out there, and he used to
Mhm.
be like very real famous for those blue blocker commercials,
Hmm.
and now he rides all across the country internationally, and he does comedy. So he occasionally he pops in and out of Chicago quite a bit, and you kind of remind me when you went into that little poem thing about Michael Collier. So I'm gonna have to introduce y'all one day. So Miss Beverly, I understand that you have a poem that you want to tell us about or
Yes.
read to us. Okay.
Okay. Domestic violence and mental health. The four words that change the meaning of myself. Words that touch the core of me, not being able to see the more of me. Words that crush my skin and bones. He used for the new me to be shown. Words that brought pain and shame. I used them to give glory to his name. Words that tried to break my spirit, but at his appointed time for all to hear it. Common words heard in this nation, God used to build my new foundation. Brutal words of hate and rage, he used as another page. Changing their meanings in my heart, he began a new start to show that he cared for all who would dare to trust his love everywhere. I will never be the same because I'm restored, revived, and renewed in Jesus' name.
All right
Amen.
now. So
Amen.
so so Miss Beverly, um, the topic of mental illness and domestic abuse is very near and dear to you. It sounds like.
It
So,
is.
is there a testimony in there about this is something that you went through in your life?
Yes.
Okay.
I had a personal experience with domestic violence, and it's really shifted who who I was. It changed from that experience, that brutal experience changed the core of who I was. I had to learn the new me. I had to live life differently with this new way of thinking, but it made me a better me after that. I couldn't stay in that place, that place of guilt, shame. I went to that place of healing. God just took me through it. And once he healed me, he began to reveal the better me. So that's what I'm here to tell others. It's a better you outside of that. It's a new you that can come through all of that through your faith in God. And that new you will be greater than you can even imagine. I couldn't even imagine that I would be like this after that. I look at me sometime and I'm sharing with others that, wow, I know what I've been through, but see what God has brought me. And he can do the same for you. He's more than able. So I'm just here to share, help others to heal.
So, when you run across people, whether it be in a group or as an individual, how do you approach them? Because, sometimes, like you say in the beginning, people have shame, they have hurt, they don't want
Mhm.
people to know what they're going through. So, how do you approach them to help them know that this is a lifeline?
What I do is I let them know that they're not by themselves. And that's the
Mm.
first thing. That's a welcoming hug or welcoming smile, just to let them know, no, you are not alone. You are not alone. People are there. I'm here for you. And I think they want a sense of security, a safe place to be able to share that with and not look down. Because a lot of times people ask, well, how you get in that situation? That's not even the question how they get in. The question is, I'm here for you. I'm here for you to share. and feel safe to, because some people don't want to tell the details. They don't want, all I want is somebody to say it's going to be okay. And somebody had to tell me it's going to be okay. Okay, take it one day at a time. And if you're fragile at some point, say it so people know how to handle you. But it's all about loving on them.
And also
Okay.
listening. The key
Yeah,
is listening,
listening.
because
Yeah,
no matter how bad that you or me or somebody may want to help somebody,
but you
if
have
you
to.
don't listen to
Yeah.
their calling you for help, then you're going to help them the wrong way, even though you
Mm-hmm.
have good intentions.
Yeah.
So listening, and then listening with love, and
Yeah.
offering the help when you hear the key word or something that might have triggered them to go back
Yes.
to a situation that's in their adult life right now. You can do them more good by taking the advice Beverly said, is listening with love. You're
Mm-hmm.
in a safe place.
Yeah.
And number two, I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
So they know they're talking to one of their persons that also have that same experience, which makes the communication lines more open, because I'm talking to somebody who understands me, because you are me.
Yeah.
Mhm. So this is what I like to do at this time. For those that are just tuning in and they just got here and they may be going through something in their life and don't know where to reach out to get help, I'm going to encourage you to reach out to Miss Beverly or to Michael, and I believe that they can point you in the right direction to be able to get some help so that you don't have to go through this situation all by yourself. People that have lived through something, they know how to help you. They know how to hold you by the hand and say, "Come on, baby, I understand."
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yes.
and then just begin to the process of getting you to a place where you don't have to suffer anymore. So I'm going to encourage you, if you are that person or you know somebody, because sometimes you may know somebody who's showing up with bruises and too much makeup
Mm-hmm.
on, and you might say, wow, I don't even know how to approach them. You know, give them an opportunity, throw them a lifeline, say, hey, let me hook you up with somebody I think can help you in this that you're going through. So, Beverly, her email is on the screen. Michael, his phone number's on the screen. This is a very serious subject in every community. Whether Hispanic, whether it's African American, Caucasian, you know, people are suffering. People are going through things that they're afraid to talk about. I remember talking to a young lady down in Texas. I got a call in the middle of the night, and they were like, my husband is acting a certain kind of way. I told her that day, he's suffering from PTSD. You need to get your child and get out of there before you all wind up dead.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So 3 or 4 months later, she left out of there. She didn't leave right then and there, but she's still alive. And I thank God that those
Wow.
words seeped into her heart to be able to take advantage of the advice that was given to her, because you don't have no idea what a person who is suffering with mental illness like PTSD, you don't know what is going to be his trigger. So you and your child need to go before you're a statistic. And to this day, when I asked about them, and they told me, "Oh, she got away," and I thank God, and I thank
Mm-hmm.
God for that. So I want to thank you all for coming on the show and sharing your stories with me and being a part of what we do over here on the Ask Dr. Ron show. So before we leave, I always ask two questions of my guests before we go off the air. The first question is, will you all come back and see me again?
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
See, I got it on tape. That's why I asked it on the air.
Oh.
So y'all can tell me, no, I ain't coming back. I got it on tape. you know. And then the next question is, what would you like to leave with the audience before you leave? Beverly, you can start out.
I would like to leave the message of hope. hope. Hope for every situation, knowing that whatever you go through, God is able to bring you out. And stay creative. Be creative in everything you do, because you never know where your creativity will take you.
Michael?
I'll piggyback off of that hope, but I'll add hope for people who are suffering in silence from mental health and domestic violence, and say it only takes a minute, because I only have a minute, only 60 seconds in it, forced upon me, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I'm a suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a
All
tiny
right.
little minute, but eternity is in it. You have
Yeah.
hope and you have help.
Yes. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you both for once again coming on, taking time out of your busy schedule to come share with us on today. I thank you. I appreciate all that you all do, and you keep up the great work. And I look forward to having you guys on the show again. So just stay right where you are. Don't go nowhere. I'm going to end the show. I want to invite you guys out to join me tomorrow on Wednesday on Street News Now. We do a show each and every Wednesday at noon, right on Street News Now. Come join me right here and enjoy what's going on. On every Saturday, join me from the desk of Dr. Ron every Saturday at noon and find out what's on my mind, what's on my heart. Come and join me so I can share with you all the things that's been going on through my week. I want to thank each and every person that have made contributions and donations to the show. Keep up the good work. These are all the ways that you can make contributions and donations. Please continue to do so. I need your support. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Please subscribe, like, and share. Tell somebody. There's some very powerful information that just went down today. And I want you guys to please share this information to somebody that may need it. Thank you all again. Look forward to seeing you guys on tomorrow. Stay blessed. I love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. See you tomorrow.